Right, checking audio. Good. Last time I went live, then we had nothing for a good 20 minutes until a kind member of the chat corrected me and said that there was no sound. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Greenwich Freakshow development stream. Tonight, I am joined by my good friend Ashley.
Hello.
Who is the lead writer on Greenwich Freakshow. And we're going to write the last dialogue tree that we need in order for our coder to finish our alpha demo. It's quite puzzle-centric. But a lot of it's just for fun. This is one of our... Hello, Pixie, good to see you in the chat. So yeah, this is one of our more comic relief characters. There's two of which that we've been kind of using on many different iterations of this game for a long time. One is Appleton, a bitch, and the other is the former Chumpson, now Adams, who is just a daft, out of his head man. Spends too much time with delusions of grandeur about his fruit empire.
He's got a northern slang to him and a zest for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And fruit. I guess zest and fruit go together, don't they? So.
Yeah. So can you sum the character up for us a little bit, dude?
Well, Adams.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty summed it up pretty well, I think. His story goes back a while, doesn't it, with his old dad?
Yeah.
Moved up to London to start his own fruit firm.
Well, his great-granddad, it's like... Oh, I guess, yeah, we never really specified when or where the family came to London. Essentially, at the beginning of this, before you're ever outside, you can talk to this character lengthily about his past, and I think actually in the current playable thing, you can't escape that dialogue without completing it still. So, Ash, you still there? Okay, well, I think Ash is still there, but maybe some technical difficulties. But yeah, essentially, the first puzzle you really need to do is to get this guy outside, for honestly reasons that are a little bit unclear at that point. Maybe we need to change some of the stuff they're writing around. But yeah, so this is a key part where we need his competitor out the way, and he seems kind of the most straightforward method because they hate each other with an intense passion, and that's where we got to write. Ash, can I hear you again?
You can.
Excellent.
I was never away.
Okay.
Running around the house.
Right, no worries. I had to ramble a little bit there. So yeah. So we know a little bit about the guy already, so we're not going to go too much into his backstory in this dialogue tree.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see over here, there are a few things we want to talk about. So the key thing is we've got to make him laugh. You can see over here he's laughing. He yucks up a storm whenever he's entertained, and his table is a piece of shit. Spending all of his money on his exotic fruit like pineapples or kiwis. His furniture is just an old hand-me-down. So the main sort of impetus of this, we've got to make him laugh, take this little splint away from his table, so that he will... Well, I'm not going to spoil that, honestly. If you've seen my development blog or some of the stuff on the Facebook page, you'll know what you'll know what happens anyway. But essentially, we just need to make him laugh. That's the puzzle bit. But also, it's quite a good concept. We had for ages a load of dialogue that we've actually got a load of Ash pulled out here from... Have you got a date on this? Yeah.
No, but it's very old.
It must be
It's
going
on
back...
a computer that doesn't exist anymore, so...
So that shows something. So that's...
Although we did record this.
Oh, sorry, got a question in the chat. What program are we using to make the dialogue tree? So this is Draw.io. This is a really nice piece of software that I like because it's an online flowchart maker that is incredibly versatile. You can see all this kind of stuff. You can do engineering documents for electricity plans. You can do pitch layouts. You can do networking diagrams. All this stuff. And it links directly into our Google Drive. So anything we do here, you can see that... Ash, care to demonstrate how linked we are?
Yes.
Oh, we got Postcard in the chat as well. All the parties here. So this is why link like a sausage. There you go. So this is why the software is so good, so that we can make edits on the fly. I can do some work during the day, and I can send it over to Ash for approval. He'll make it better. Honestly, tends to be the way our working relationship goes in terms of writing. But it's great, and it's free. And there are some issues with it. We had some problems with it desyncing once and going back to an older version,
Yeah.
but that still may have just been me making a mistake and backing up stuff improperly.
Yeah, I still don't know why that happened though. Lost like
No,
4 hours of work.
but at least only on one document.
Could have been worse.
I had a look around at loads of things. There are a lot of good bits of software like this, but this is the only one that's free, and honestly entirely comparable with everything else that I found. So yeah, this is what we use for everything. The only problem I would say with it is that you can see it's got this kind of limited draw space. If you go outside of this, which we routinely do for these long sprawling ones, let me see if I can quickly find a bigger one. Ash, what's a long dialogue tree? Old Tom's pretty sprawling, isn't it?
Pretty big, yeah.
So, a lot of the time you'll go outside this main border, just because of the way we work, and you'll see this dotted line appears. If I try to export this as a PDF... God, that is long! Jeez. Right, if I try and export this as a PDF, it's going to cut it up into loads of pieces, which is not ideal. But, you know, this software is HTML5, it works across Mac and PC, so it's not really a big deal. If we needed a physical copy, we'd find a workaround. But yeah, good question. Draw.io. Wholeheartedly recommend it.
Yeah, nothing we've found has been better, so...
Yeah, exactly, and I have had looks. Even stuff, there was a 40 quid package that said it was better, and honestly was the same at most.
Yeah,
so
it does everything you need it to do, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Say it's a bit dodgy exporting it, but whatever.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
I
really
mean,
need to.
no.
Unless you would, like, need to hang them on a wall, which I don't know why you would.
no, I think it's better to just have them digital. Actually, the only thing I will say, opening it on a phone is crap. And if you try and move stuff around, if you try and just pan around the page, you'll end up pulling things up and adding new things, and it's dog shit. So that's the only problem. But we don't use that, so it's fine.
Right.
Right. Rambling intro aside. By the way, thank you for the questions. If you have any more, please post them in the chat. I'm always happy to answer them, and it kind of it justifies our streaming, honestly. Did that just turn pink because you were on it?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I like that. Cool. So yeah,
Fancy,
let's get
fancy.
started. So our methodology behind doing this always changes really. Ash and I even work in slightly different ways. Generally speaking, we'll start with probably an intro and then we'll sprawl out from there. I'm just going to open old Tom again.
Fair enough. I don't know. It's...
So we'll usually have like a little bit of introductory dialogue and then we'll split off into options, and from there it kind of goes out and links back on itself. The only problem we have had, and this is a problem with the Unity plugin that we've used to make adventure games, is that it's not immediately obvious when something is a single-use thing. And that's something we need to work out. So whether we use a slightly different box for something that's gone once it's used, like, I don't know, like that or something, I don't know. But
That's probably the best way.
But for now, we're just going to keep on with it, and then we'll talk to Harry, our coder, later. Because right now, we're just about getting stuff in, making sure it functions, and then we'll do the fine-tuning later. So we always start by trying to get a color coding system in, and actually that's reminded me, we have another person in this scene, so I need to pull her dialogue box in as well. I think she was just pink, but...
What do you think about starting it with, if when you're walking past the table, he tries to give you an old market spiel?
Yeah! I'm good with
and
that.
then you can choose to engage.
So I didn't say the music tonight is a playlist that I have put together of all the stuff that I've got for Greenwich Freakshow, including a really excellent chiptune album by composer Luke, or Postchord. And it's got some really great stuff on it. You can find it on Bandcamp, I think. Honestly, Luke, put a link in the chat, because I don't remember the exact link, but it's really good. There's also a non-chiptune concept album in there as well. It's really good, and the best part is I can use it. I can put it on YouTube afterwards, and I don't get flagged, because the stuff you're allowed to do on Twitch is not cleared with YouTube, which is great. But anything Luke does, I have full permission to use, and if anyone claims it, I will fucking fight them.
Violently.
It's on Spotify! Congratulations!
Nice.
That means
done, Luke.
the half an hour I spent putting it on my personal Spotify was a complete waste of time. Well done, Luke. But seriously, search Postcode on Spotify. It is well worth your time. Right.
I'm going to use a different style of box for this.
Sure. So is this what we were talking about? So this is a single-use kind of thing?
I guess, yeah.
I've got to remember to tell Harry that we're doing this.
Might make a note on it afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll
check that right now.
Would he be able to do like if there was say like 3 or 4 options, so if you don't want to speak to him straight away, every time you roll past it might say something different?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, bear in mind, we've already spoken to him by the time he's out here, so he knows that we're somebody.
True.
But doesn't necessarily know that, you know, we haven't said anything else to him.
That's right. Is this going to stress him out?
What, Harry?
Harry, yeah.
Yeah, almost definitely. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Harry's cool. There are a lot of things, though, that we'll think takes no time at all. We'll write a whole thing, and then we'll come back later, and Harry will say, why have you put, like, 100 lines of dialogue? Why have you put this monologue in? Because I have to put it in, like, paragraph by paragraph. And then I'll offer to do it, and nah, it's fine. So...
That's what it is.
I don't know. Nice, yes, thank you, Luke. Postcode.bandcamp.com. Yeah, you can pay whatever you want for it. And, you know what, even if you don't want to pay for it, just get it, because it's worth listening to, and I imagine the downloads help. But, you know, if you can afford to, throw a couple of quid his way.
Yeah, put his kids through college.
Pretty sure, I hope he doesn't have kids he hasn't told me about. That's very cruel. So these are just going to be like options for stuff he can say.
I think so. I think that would be good, do you?
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then they'll all lead into, I guess, Wellhall speaking to him.
Yeah. Well, actually then, if these are... So these aren't necessarily single-use options, these are just stuff that he will say when we're not talking to him. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool.
I don't know how to program, so I guess...
No, it's fine.
In my mind, you know, you're walking past this table and... Oh, roll up, son! Stuff like that.
Come on, son, would you like to try an exotic pineapple? Only £12. Luke has confirmed that he does not yet have children, which is good.
Good.
Not good that he doesn't have kids, but good that he didn't have kids and didn't tell me.
They're old enough to go to college.
Yeah, which would have required Luke to have kids when he was about 10.
Or incredibly smart children in like one of those shitty American things.
What, TV shows or?
Yeah, TV shows where they're like, hey, but he's smart enough to go to school.
Did you ever watch Smart Guy as a kid?
No.
He's a smart guy. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It wasn't very good. Starred a guy named Taj Mowry.
Taj Mowry?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, I remember that, but I don't remember 4 years of German lessons. So, like I was saying earlier, generally with dialogue, either Ash will write it from scratch based on notes that we've made from a discussion, or I'll write like a loose thing that usually has a couple of lines that I'm quite attached to, but for the most part I'm kind of just going to try to hash out the motions. Ash's grasp of dialogue is way more flourishing, and just he gives the characters a lot more voice than I do. So almost every dialogue tree I've written, Ash has done extreme edits to. So I really can't take too much credit for that. Also, if you see anything that's a bit more whimsical in the game, and a bit of a... not fourth wall, but a bit more of an out of context joke. There's a scene early on where you're trying to convince someone patriotically, well this guy actually, trying to convince him patriotically to go back out to work. And I wrote this scene and this long spiel about it. And Ash just said, well, why don't we, you know, wouldn't it be, you can almost imagine like a little Union Jack behind him. And so the next day I spent 2 hours animating a Union Jack. And it's fun, it's a good process, because it's very iterative, there's a lot of back and forth with the writing we do. I do occasionally completely shit can an idea of Ash's that may be good, but...
they're not all good.
Well, I don't know if they're not all good, I just think sometimes I am a picky taskmaster, and that's, you know...
What makes it good, isn't it?
I would say, Ash, for the purposes of the stream, I know you generally write like a whole thing and then come off. If you could just periodically click off the box just so it updates on my screen.
There you go. That's
Cheers,
what I'm doing. Updating preview. Please wait. If you break, I'm going to smash my computer. Please don't.
I can see it.
Hooray!
Yeah, this is really good software. The only problem I've had recently was with alignment. I'm really anal about where I like my arrows to come in.
Right.
And they don't always align properly. Like, you'll have one that's just slightly off.
Oh,
and...
I'm about to really screw it up by making this box really big. I'm really
That's
sorry.
fine. That's fine. It's just afterwards I will have to spend a good half an hour making sure
Oh,
everything lines up.
hexagon was a bad choice. You'll see why in a sec.
I can see why.
Yeah.
To be honest, a lot of this shit does that. But if we pull it down...
Yeah,
Oh, hexagon's horrible, isn't it?
Sack the numbers off for now.
Well, we could just put the numbers at the beginning of the thing, right?
Really doesn't matter that the text isn't in the box, but that really bothers me.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it?
I'd
I'd imagine that's going to bother chat as well. I know at least there's one person in chat that's going to irritate. How about this?
Pointed.
It's just a different box. No,
Yeah,
it's not. I'm not having a go. I totally agree.
Oh, you just deleted it.
No, I didn't.
That hurt my feelings.
It's fine. I just moved it.
There you
But
go.
now I have got to redraw my little legend at the top.
Aw.
So yeah, these boxes are stuff that will happen when you're not necessarily... Good! You know what? Both of the people I know in the chat are annoyed that that didn't fit. That's why we
Good.
all get along. You see, this annoys me. The fact that now the line is coming out of the corner of the... That's fine. That's acceptable.
That's better.
So yeah, this is the kind of thing I was talking about. So when we're writing together, like, I'll have the odd joke and stuff, but it's stuff like how Wellhall is incredibly well spoken, and Adams is like patriotic and stuff, and it's these little things that won't necessarily feed into my dialogue, but that Ash will put in afterwards. So you know, it's. I would always say this with everything, even if you think that you are the best in the world at what you do, ask someone else's opinion, because
Oh yeah.
staring at something for
Might
too
not
long, you're going to make mistakes, or you're going to miss something, and I know that the majority of my artwork is imperfect, at least until I've had 2 or 3 people look at it and go, oh, it's good, but maybe the shadow could be over here, maybe there's not enough. When I was originally doing this, the pineapple looked really static, and then I can't remember who it was said maybe you should have this going, and yeah, in any field, no matter what you're doing, other opinions help. Not every opinion, some people have no idea what they're talking about, and those people can be ignored, but, you know, it's always good to have a small network of people who you know you can trust, and also that you know won't bullshit you.
I opened my home to you, let you enjoy my writing, and you took shit all over it. Get out.
You're a bad person. So this character came about with the when we were doing research into the Victorian era as a whole, and something came up about when people would save up like a month's worth of wages just to buy a pineapple just to show the people next door.
How
It was
rich they were.
Yeah, but not even if they weren't rich. Like, people would be starving and stuff. Like, the whole thing that, like, Gangnam Style was a thing where it was a problem that people were not affording to do rent and things, but they were having, like, expensive lattes and stuff because it was a status symbol. Well, it was similar to this. So you'd have these families rocking up and, like, showing their, like, kiwis to the neighbours and, like, oh, look what I've got, I'm special! It's a weird world we live in. But we just thought that would be a cool concept if you had the merchant for that, but not necessarily the customers. So you have this guy who's really excited about these foreign produce, but no one's buying them. So that's Adams, formerly Chumpy. And like I was saying before, these characters, Chumpy and Appleton, go back really far. So there's been about 4 iterations of this game, and the one that got the furthest along before this one. And I think this is probably the furthest we've got, because this is actually almost playable. You know, there are versions of this game that people can walk around and interact with, whereas the others never really got off the ground. But there was a really involved write-up called Kensington Gore, and we're going to definitely borrow aspects of that and put them into this full game when we get there. But we were building a demo for this, and this was when it was a 3D game. Because I studied 3D animation before I realised I was no good at it. And we had this one scene that was completely modelled, but with no textures at all. And the one thing that kind of got everyone excited about it was these two characters just arguing, and that's where this document over here comes from, because we wanted to have it that when you weren't talking to them, they'd just argue and argue and argue. And they were a lot more aggressive back then, and it's...
Yeah, they were very aggressive.
Whereas now, it's more of a... Appleton is a complete antagonist, whereas Adams hates her, but kind of just wants to get on with his life.
Although I think now Adams has become a bit less of a innocent man in the whole thing. Yeah, he's a bit more ruthless, rather than he was definitely the victim in the original.
Yeah, whereas now I think I agree. As much as he'd like to be left alone, if she's slinging shit, he's gonna throw some back.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting, the stuff that we had early on that kind of stayed in. Like, we had the British produce, which became like a staple of her and stuff. That's what I really like, that we live in the future, where, you know, stuff that we wrote years ago is still just in a folder somewhere. That's great.
Yeah, it's just randomly there. Well, I use that in my portfolio.
Nice. Also, another important thing for this, Ash is writing phonetically because Adams is a northern man and proud of his heritage, despite, according to his story, his family having been here for generations in London.
Yeah,
sorry.
We don't question it.
No, you don't ask questions.
Sorry, I keep getting put off.
It's cool, man. I'm interested to know where this one's going.
You should know about how I write. It's very first drafty. I just try and fart it out and then fix it.
That's fine. I think also it's we've not streamed writing before, so this is new. Like almost every stream we've done so far, actually. Like, we've done a couple of art ones now, we've done a couple of music ones, but everything's still constantly evolving. And I think before each stream there's always going to be about 20 minutes of setting up something new or trying to get Discord to work or something like that, so...
Yeah.
And the next stream that we've got planned is going to be interesting, because Ash and I were talking the other day about...
Stream.
Yeah, well, I don't think... So I'm torn between, like, research and, like, contextual... I don't want to put contextual studies because I'm not in uni anymore, but something like that. Because basically, I've played point-and-click adventures since I was about 7, and I've always been on the hunt for as many as I could, because I really like this genre. It's quite slow and it's quite well-paced. And when I was probably about, like, when we met, we'd play a lot of them together and stuff. We'd play, like, Sam and Max Hit the Road and Spy Fox and things like that. But in more recent times, obviously, you know, the way we hang out is different, and Ash has not played it. Like, I mean, I think in the first place, you probably wouldn't have played that many if I hadn't showed you anyway. Really, like, of this kind of game, it's pretty niche, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do some streams where we get some more contemporary and a bit more I don't know, some point-and-click adventures that had something special to them. That Ash hasn't played, and what we're going to do is we're going to play, probably not through the whole thing, not like a let's play, but we're going to play a bit of it, maybe like an hour or so. Yeah, exactly. So, well, the thing is, I have thought about streaming or let's playing this kind of stuff for ages, but I'm not. It's a weird balance where I don't like the. I know what to do. I know the solutions to all the puzzles, so I can't be working stuff out. And I don't want to pretend that I don't know how, because that bugs me when you're watching a video and like, oh, I wonder how I do this. Maybe I'll click on this obtuse thing and work it out. And it just doesn't flow properly, and I don't want to fake it. So instead, we're going to put Ash in the reins, who doesn't know the solutions to the puzzles. I'll be there to push it along if I feel we need to. And we basically analyse the shit out of it. So like, we'll play a bit and we'll talk about what we enjoyed, we'll talk about what we didn't do. So it'll be somewhat like a Let's Play, but more in a kind of analytical sense.
Yeah. Word of warning, I'll get really frustrated if I can't figure something out.
That's fine.
So
well, that's I think
files might drive me off the cliff.
Yeah, maybe we don't start with that one. But we've got a couple. I've got a couple in mind.
Oh, do it. If that's
Monkey
what
Island.
You want to see.
Maybe Monkey Island, but Hash, how well do you remember Monkey Island?
I do remember it very well. Third one especially.
Oh, I fucking love the third one. Well, maybe then we will. Pixie suggests Dropsy. We were talking about that the other day, actually. That's the clown one.
I do want to play that.
Dropsy's really good. Do need to... Yeah, alright, well, I'm thinking we'll start with probably... maybe Monkey Island. Oh, these are all good suggestions. I'm thinking we either start with Dropsy because it's so different and contemporary, or Thimbleweed Park because it's so beloved by most and just disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Or Day of the Tentacle, that's good, because I don't think either of us have played that in years, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that game so much.
Alright, maybe we'll do that one then.
Hey, Bernard.
Because the remastered version's out now, where everything's in like vector graphics, and it's only like £6.
Nice.
So many good... Yeah, thank you for the suggestions, guys. So Dropsy, Chains of Saturn. Chains of Saturn was really good. It's like... if... one chapter from Game of Thrones with a bit of magic in there was... It's a good game. It's a fantasy thing. I'm trying to explain it in a way that I don't need to. It's a fantasy game that's quite good. Yeah, Day of the Tentacle is good. It is a classic as well. And it'd be good to talk about Monkey Island, I think. Yeah, so many good choices. So we're going to make a list, and I think the next stream we'll play one or more, and we'll just talk about it, and we'll talk about what works and doesn't work, and we'll try and feed that into us developing our knowledge as game designers.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So yeah, Postcode had watched that. Awesome. All right, cool. As would Pixie. All right, that's good. As long as the regulars are watching, that's one victory, isn't it? That's good. So yeah, that'll be an exciting one, and I hope that'll work. And I think that'll be an easier one to chop up and put on YouTube as well, because then we can just sort of upload it in more of a like a Let's Play format. Because we know there's a market for that, but if we do it with that more analytical side. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it, but we'll do that soon.
Defo. What do you think so far, Ben and chat?
Let's go through it. We did the dialogue before you, Adams, right?
Yeah. Tell you what, let me just finish this last little one.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring up the other one and compare the way he talks to himself, because I can't remember. Yeah, I also brought in, when we started doing this numbering system where I think 1 was the order you encountered them in, and A was whether they were in this part or the next part, and then in the end we realised that actually, you just need a name because there's not going to be that many instances of talking to most people. Adams. I keep forgetting his name's Alfred.
Oh, yeah.
It's because for the longest time we just called him Chumpy.
Yeah, Chumpy.
But then, I don't know, I felt like he needed, like, a real name. And actually, looking it up, Chumpson is a real name, but it doesn't sound like a real name. Also, fun fact, if you live in the Greater Greenwich area, you'll notice that if you take the 286 bus, you go past Wellhall Road and Appleton Lane.
There,
because I am a hack.
I said inside, isn't it? It's a Easter egg.
Yeah.
Cat. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Well, it'll be if anyone plays through our games, it'll be on the Wikipedia entry.
There we are. Not written by us, definitely not.
I will. If I knew how to write a Wikipedia
Fun
article,
fact.
I would totally do that.
I remember editing one in college with a guy called Rob, and it was about Nicholas. It was Nicolas Cage's profile.
You edited Nicolas Cage's Wikipedia?
Yeah, we were going through the whole thing, trying to make it his family tree into Dorito-related puns, because he looks like a Dorito. If you look at his head and then turn it upside down, he looks like a Dorito.
I'll have to do that later.
We were 17. You know, it's just.
Yeah, you do a lot of crazy shit when you're 17.
Bit of a waste of time, and then it kind of stopped us from being able to do it for some reason.
You probably got locked out. I mean, as much as people say you can't trust Wikipedia, it is quite well policed these days.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Acting. So let's give this a read. I'm just going to turn the music down a little bit while we do this. So, let's just start with going through the greetings.
Cool. Do you want to read it so I can listen?
Yeah, alright, no worries. Alright, but you got to be well Hull because he's got the least dialogue, alright?
Alright. I'll do Appleton as well if you want.
Yeah, do that. Oh, weird. We've completely swapped roles.
Mm.
Both going to be gutted if the other one does it better. Now then, my good man, don't settle for rotten fly-covered garbage. Come on over for a taste of the Empire.
It's like Vic Reeves.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's the annoying thing, although I am northern. I'm not that northern, so if I'm having to do a northern voice, it's always Vic Reeves.
I mean, he is a bit Vic Reevesy anyway, I think, Adams.
Yeah, he is a little bit.
If
he had a gigantic forehead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tasty,
Anyway.
zesty, yummy, exotic fruit for sale. Adams fruit, the finest in Britain. Yeah, that works. Pixie was just going to say Vic Reeves. Sorry, if I ever go quiet for a sec, it's probably because I'm either reading chat or something is broken. So, hey up there, Chuck! Time for a good old-fashioned knees up! Well then, what would a party be without a party kiwi? I like that, that's good. That's good. People are going to be, banging on our doors saying, can I give you money for that character? Because it's the face I need.
Answer is yes.
Well, I'll be! He managed to drag himself out at pub. Ha 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 ha!
Shut up, you loud bastard!
So these have got a lead-in thing, right? Does that mean that when you come talk to him, he'll do one of these, or just that's?
I think that if you walk past, that's what I see. You walk past him, he'll say something. One of them.
I'm with you. In which case, I'd just get rid of these, so that we know that they're just randomly triggering because I've got this, and then this is where the dialogue starts. Because otherwise, I think these might get plugged in. Oh my god!
Did I just blow your ears off? I'm sorry if I did.
Maybe. One of us did. That's right. Well, hopefully they'll heal by the time we have a next music stream.
Yeah. Don't need him.
You gotta do well, Hall.
Oh yeah. Yes. Fruit seller, Mr.
Adams of the family Fruitier Adams. That sounds like he's coming out.
The Fruitier Adams.
Out of the famous. We can't say the famous Addams Family either because that's not. Postcode, I feel like I'm watching a low-budget Monty Python reboot. Then we've done our job, sir!
Yes!
Yeah, that line. I know,
well,
I'm not sure what to say there.
The family Fruitier Adams. Which bit?
Just that top line. I haven't got past that yet. It's the family Fruitier. It sounds like a long line of gay men.
That's true. What's the word? Because we said he was. I don't know. For some reason, I had it in my head. He calls himself a fruitier at some point.
I think he calls himself a fruiterer, possibly.
Fruiterer.
Which was a legit Victorian word because.
Fruiter. Yeah. Of the I can't call Addams Family. That's the point.
Yeah, right. I was thinking the famous Addams Family. It's not the famous Addams Family. It's a less famous Addams Family.
What about the famous family of fruiterers? The famous family of fruiterers.
Yeah, that works. I think what we should respond to this as well is that, like, yes, I've already met you. You know, like he's doing his whole pitch. And then at the end, Wellhall's like, yes, we've had a conversation before. The pear purveyor. The pear purveyor is quite good. We'll put that in somewhere. I'm just going to make a note down here. Lovely to see you again, chum. Impressed to view the finest fruit that money can buy. Yeah, it is way more Vic Reeves than you did it, isn't it? You'll find it all at fabulous prices that cannot be beat. Especially not by other, less reputable fruit sellers. Can we say less reputable so-called fruit sellers?
Yeah, that's better, yeah.
Don't look at the right-hand side of the screen. I'm doing some.
What are you doing? What are you doing, son?
I was realising that if Appleton's coming in, I should have a reference of both of them on the right-hand side of the screen.
Nice, that's very meta. What you're doing is very meta. They can see the magic.
They can see the magic, it's fine. It doesn't get less magic from seeing it.
The movie magic's ruined.
Can I actually... maybe? Not very well. Cool. Oh, cool. No, it does fucking work. Yay! Right, yeah, so there we go. There's Appleton, being a lovely Monty Python self. And there's Chumpy. Cool. Right. So, yeah, so we don't want to go too much into his backstory, because if you've played the demo or just seen this before, you'll know that there's this ridiculously long monologue that I wrote before, that I'm very happy with, but we don't need to hear that again. He also talks a bit about Appleton, but... So the main thing with Ash and I were talking about before as well is the fact that she's here. Like, in most dialogue trees we've had, apart from in one case, it's just you're talking to someone, they're talking back, that's it. Whereas in this one, we wanted to have it more of like a to and fro. So you'll say something, and then Appleton will interject, because she's rude and she hates him, and she's trying to undermine him at any cost. And so that's something we gotta pull back in when we can.
I've been doing this today. I've been putting capital letters everywhere. I don't know what's happened to me. I've had some sort of illness. Malady.
I've realised there's a thing on my phone and I don't know how to activate it, but sometimes it'll get stuck on giving a capital letter to every word.
Oh.
And it sucks. Alright, no, I'm not playing this Victorian lift music again. You know what, maybe just a little bit for you guys. That's enough of that. We've actually got a tune for when for this area, so I'm going to try and dig that out because it'll help set the scene a little bit. Oops. Oh. There we go, that's the one.
just keep everything kind of my eyes sometimes dart to the right. It seems to be always when Adams is banging his fist down. It's like he's like, I need him like a picture of him at work. So every time I write something, is that funny? He's good.
His little idol. I could put this instead and give you some self-doubt.
Yeah.
This was great in the latest build of the game that we released. The full animation sets hadn't been put in, but both Adams and Appleton were just doing this horrified, surprised face. So when you walked past, it looked like you were naked or something, like you'd done something horrible, and they were just amazed by you. And then suddenly she'd cycle to flipping you off. It was amazing. So the actual Adams design is. I prefer duos, Luke. That read way better. The design for this guy was actually one of the first things I drew as pixel art. It was like some really tubby, bald ginger dude who was a gravedigger or something. And
yeah.
I have no idea where that piece is now, but I kind of kept trying to work with the design. So when I first started working on this in like Adventure Creator, he was the first guy I drew, albeit not as cleanly, and then when I was drawing the pub, it was just, I had to put him in there because he's like my guy. It's annoying that my hallmark is a fat, balding man, but, you know, whatever. How are the volume levels tonight? Is everything sounding okay? I can see my microphone peaking every so often. I don't know if that's messing anyone up.
I have no reference of mine.
Seems okay. Yours is a little bit quieter than mine, but I don't think that's a problem. If it is, someone in the chat tell me, and I'll play with my one slider. Ash is a little bit quieter.
Is that better?
That is better, actually. You are matching my volume on the thing now.
Sometimes it helps to put the microphone near to your face.
Well, you've got a much better. You've got like a directional mic anyway. Mine's stuck to my head, so I can't move it that far away.
I'm using the Samsung CO1U Pro.
Better. Nice. Thank you. I think I finally got chat scroll to a good place as well. It leaves after a while. I am so self-conscious about whether my stream setup is optimal or not. So it's nice when things just work.
Sorry, I'm just reading it through.
It's fine.
What does anybody think?
We'll do a proper read through in a sec.
Trying to make that lead in enough to warrant why I'd ask.
Fine and dandy like a sweater made by my old Aunt Sandy, chap. The weather's grand, the birds are chirping, I've got the best fruit in the business and sales are through the roof.
Splendid.
I sold 5 things today.
That's good, yeah.
I still need to...
I feel like it'd say weave.
Weave? We at like the Adams family. I wish I hadn't called him Adams now, because I want to say there's something family.
Yeah.
And I can't ever say Adams family. Or else A, people will be like, that's weird, and B, we might get sued if we get anywhere with this.
I mean, they probably don't own that. It's probably hard to
Well, it's spelled differently anyway. There's 2 M's in the best goth family on the planet. So I should warn, because the writing's a bit more slower and iterative, we might not get the full tree out in the course of the stream, just because, you know, for time's sake. But, you know, we should get the bulk of it, and you'll see the kind of thing we do. We'll go through some some read-throughs, we'll go through some revisions, it'll be good. Because some take less than others, and it actually seems like the really long ones take less time. Like, it felt like the one for Crumb and maybe Old Tom took less time than, like, Appleton. And, like, there was... Although I didn't finish Appleton, maybe that's why that felt like that didn't.
Possible.
Well, maybe this is where it splits off into a non-linear...
That's what I'm doing now.
Nice. Cool, okay.
I feel like that's a good lead-in.
Yeah, I think so. He's done his sales pitch and shit. See, this is what annoys me. That, when you zoom out, is slightly fatter. It doesn't need to be. That could be one line, but it's fine. Could be worse.
I'm glad you put I heard that in there. I was going to do that.
Oh, cheers. Good, yeah. I'm just going to keep this handy. If we get to about, like, here, and then take a short break.
To where? Pear Purveyor?
Yeah.
Do you mean, like, literally there, or...
I don't know. Like, we'll get... maybe we call it, like, 5-10 minutes, and then we take a short break.
Sure. Okay. Well, so, yeah, 25 past.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. So, here, I think she's going to have to... This one's definitely just got to be...
Like a shouting match?
Yeah. I think it's got to erupt.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not quite just yet. Maybe explain something.
Well, I think maybe we don't have it going as full on as we did in, like, the earlier drafts. I think just you know,
like 2 or 3 things going on.
It'll be pushed too far, and they'll swap insults a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing he says about keep interrupting, I'd like to put another interruption from her in here. Just her being sarky.
Oh, well done, you!
Yeah! Oh, you can practically retire! I feel like everything we write for her should be in italics.
Yeah, it's sarky. I think practically retire was better.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, that flows nicely.
I'd like to imagine that she's only like 6 months older than him as well.
Yeah. Haggard.
Yeah. Life has been hard. La, 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 la. As before, if anyone has an idea that I think would be fun to add in, and you want to put it in the chat, we will happily steal it. I've still got him at the end of this. At the end of this whole thing, he's got to run off. And in theory, Appleton chases him. And I feel like that's going to be really hard to do and not look crap. So I might just do like a Hanna-Barbera, like he turns into like a puff cloud.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good.
Oh, yes! I've tried to develop a way of tuning her out like a squeak of an old floorboard or an owl hooting at night. My old father called it keeping your ears plugged. I like to think I took a lot from him.
And then...
Yes. I see your benign comment and call you fat. That's good.
He's gonna push it. She's gonna push him, sorry.
Yeah. Huh, what happened there? Oh, good. The inbuilt music player for Windows crashed. That's nice.
Oh.
Oh, actually, my computer might be having some trouble. There may be some technical difficulties on the stream. If there is, and you can still hear me, I'll hopefully have it sorted out in... Never mind.
Is it fine?
It's fine. And I didn't even get to use my technical difficulties sign. It's one of only 2 overlays I've got that I don't use on a regular basis. The other one is telling people to go to Luke's website. I did have plans to try and set up more. Like, I thought about maybe doing, like, well, I've got little character... like pixel guides of ours that I've been using for the advertising and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's just, I don't know, there is a limit to... There's a fine line between having sort of a nice set decoration and just clutter.
Definitely. You can overdo it, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, it's not always easy, but my life has had a significant increase since the day I realised I didn't have to put up with the nonsense!
That's perfect. That's perfect. It's interesting writing for this as well, because when we first wrote it, I didn't write it with like speech in mind. But the more we go along, the more it works. It really does work. Yeah. So that's perfect. That's great. God, we still need to re-record a lot of stuff, don't we?
We do.
I did say to Harry though that it is on the cards, but it's there's a few things that we're going to do right at the end. One is doing proper lighting engine and stuff. But right now, as long as we've got the dialogue and the puzzles and everything,
yeah,
that's what really matters. God, that's so cool. That I've just found Postcord on Spotify. You need to do your about though, dude. You do not have images or a bio yet. How do you even get on Spotify? I have no idea. That seems really impressive.
Yeah, don't you have to like apply for it or something?
I guess so. Well, I mean, dude's been making music for his whole life, so you know. Yeah, I don't know. I've no idea. Postcord is the first musical person I know who's on Spotify, so...
Same, yeah, I don't really know anyone. I don't really know that many musical people, but I imagine it's quite tough.
You have to go through a distributor.
Do you? Oh.
Well, I'll have to whore you out more then. I'll put a link on social media later. Have you updated this box yet?
Oh, yep. There you go. So I was just reading the script.
Sure.
I know there was something good we wrote for this years ago. I want to see if I can find it.
Yeah, no worries. I keep going back to the one for him inside the pub, seeing if there's anything we can call back to.
That bit. Okay.
So, and then you have to prove to Spotify that you're you, and you can set up the about stuff. Such a weird system. Yeah, it does sound weird. I had a similar thing. It's not as cool, obviously, but a friend of mine sent me a link to like an instant bank, because a problem I have to keep this spreadsheet whenever I spend money, because it takes like 2 days for a bank to properly update their app. But this one is a brand new bank built to do this kind of thing, and because it's a bank that only exists on the internet, I decided not to go ahead with it because it seemed like a lot of work for something that's not a problem I have.
Is there one of them that doesn't have any branches?
Yeah, so to prove you're you have to send them a picture of your driver's license and then a 5-second video saying, "Hi, I'm me." And it got to that point and I was like, no. I'm alright. This doesn't solve a problem I have, so I'm not sending pictures of my ID to people. That seems like a silly idea.
With your voice.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Nathan.
Open the door!
I would like to switch banks.
Yeah! Please give me all that money! Now!
I would like you to transfer it via Western Union.
Western Union? If you have any problems, then I'm not going to say that. Yeah, so I decided not to go with that bank. Although when I was told about it, I wasn't told it was a bank, I was told it was just an app that manages your finances. And then, yeah, so I'm not doing that. This is one of my favourite pieces of music written for the thing, if only because it can exist in the background for like an infinite amount of time and not get on your tits, and that is so perfect. Background music. I draw to this sometimes.
Shall we take a break? I need to have a think about this next bit.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to set up a timer. How long do you want to be?
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Unless you want less or more.
I'm going to set it to 6 and 7.5.
6 and 7.5.
6 and 7.5. Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we will be back post haste. 7.5 minutes. are back in the room.
Hello.
Yep, good. Hello everybody, thanks for sticking about. Just needed a drink and stretch our legs a minute.
So, what we've decided to do here.
Yeah, we had a quick discussion about, well, Ash informed me where this is sort of going. And that was...
Sorry. While he's going to continue to talk, she's just going to talk over him for about, I don't know, 15 seconds. Maybe not quite that long. So he's going to start telling a little story of some sort. Not story, but some sort of monologue-y type thing. And she's going to be screaming.
She's going to be screaming.
From across.
Irritating herself almost, like she's feeding her own fire. Like she's imagining there's a two-way fight. She's really trying to get under his skin. But actually she's just shouting at herself. But she will get to him eventually.
Right, hers first. I'm going for this bit, the...
Good plan. Thank you, Pascal.
It's a free country. What did he say? Sorry, I'm not...
Good plan.
Oh, plan. Will this copy over? Yes.
Oh, nice. You're lifting stuff from the old thing.
I think his bit fits.
Yeah. Wait, was he Scottish originally? Because she calls him Haggis Basher at some point.
No, he's always been from the north, hasn't he? I don't know why he calls me Haggis Basher.
Odd. It's hard to remember this far back, honestly. God, we had so much written for that game. I think the thing is, it was a bit more... I'm going to go off on one now. So, we roleplay quite regularly, Ash and I. And we have two friends that we roleplay with. And for about 3 months, maybe, I was running a game. And currently, Ash is our GM. And we're playing the Iron Kingdoms system, so it's all like steampunk fantasy. And a comment that was... normal kind of warrior types fighting monsters and, you know, adventuring kind of thing, but Ash is a lot more based in society and politics and all this stuff. And I think it's a similar thing with the way that the game and the setting as a whole have gone. So the original script for Kensington Gore was about, and it hasn't changed that much actually. The key players are also, hang on, us Southerners can't distinguish between all those Northern accents. Oh. That's a good shout from Luke. It's not our fault. It's Appleton is an uncultured Southerner. I'm not saying all Southerners are. I'm just saying she's an example of it. But thank you for the save, Luke.
I have just received a network error on the stream. I don't know if anyone else will see that.
Mine's okay. Maybe. Actually, maybe it's not okay.
No, mine's back now. Never mind.
Mine has frozen. Yeah. So the game that we wrote was about this monster, this like giant bipedal lizard. Yeah. And it was kind of running amok in London, and it, you know, a lot of people wanted to chase it. We had to sort of decide where it came from and stuff. And it's a lot more like one of my old campaigns. So it was a lot more chase the monster, find the weird stuff, you know, all the ghouls and misfits and stuff. And actually now it's become more about the people and the politics of the world. Oh, Pixie got a network error as well. Maybe that's on my side then. I don't know. But as long as it's working now, that's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
It could be that my computer is a little bit, it's alright, but after a while it starts to get a bit warm and has some problems. It should sort itself out. Probably end the stream in the next half an hour anyway. Just for time constraints, is that alright with you, Ash?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so now it's a lot less about the monsters and about the people, and the monsters that are people. But it's kind of funny the things that we can still lift, and the fact that a lot of the key players are still the same. So there's still a lot of involvement of the mad scientists involved, because a lot of people, that's their favourite bit. But there's a lot more of the rest, honestly. Most of that game took place inside the Harvesters Club, and I think it's an interesting place, but I want to explore the world as a whole. It's also changed as an idea, because we set this is now set about 2 years before that one was, because there's some, we haven't got the whole thing written, but there's some key events that we sculpt the game behind, and they haven't happened yet, so we know what happens sort of after this game. And yeah, I don't know, I think it's a lot better because of it, even though we've not got a whole lot written. I think the ideas that we've got are a little bit more grounded, and like potential twists are a bit more fun.
It was a bit ambitious, the first one.
It was ambitious. Well, I think honestly the new one will be better and bigger, but yeah, we're not going to try and push it so much. Also, a giant lizard is hard to draw well.
Yeah.
And I think originally it was going to end up being the you know, you think you're chasing this monster, it turns out he's not a monster, but then he becomes like the sidekick of this character, who I don't actually know if is still in the game, but instead there's a different character who's similar, who has a giant octopus. So we kept these little veins of it, but it's changed a lot. But luckily, a lot of the little character pieces like this, we can totally recycle.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, she's probably the only character that stayed the same, really, hasn't she? So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone else who's carried over, really. Because a lot of the characters we had in that, we only had about 5 real characters in that, and they've all evolved a lot. Or devolved. We still don't know what we're going to do, particularly with what was the main character of that one. We know that he's one of the main characters in the full game of this, but not quite sure what his role is yet. Also, it's gone from our current plan is... it went from one character who followed throughout, and now we want to do a bit more of a Day of the Tentacle style thing, where it's 3 very different characters, but with a common goal, and then they'll, you know... I'm not going to say anything too spoilery, but, you know... That should be fun, but right now it's still just finishing this demo, and the plan right now is to get this done, get it good, and then try and get as many people to play it as possible, and tell us what does and doesn't work about it, and then we'll put that into the full game and maybe see about how we go about it. But I'm having fun. It's a lot of fun just to do it and to actually manage a project and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good experience.
And I'm very lucky that most of the people working on it, like Luke and yourself and Harry, are all very self-motivated, so I don't have to... You know, I don't say I don't have to do a lot, but you know, I ask for things to be done, and then people are great and contribute everything they can. It's very good.
Yeah.
I've also got a good few friends who will happily act for me and let me animate over the top.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've got another one as well, because I've still got to animate the creepy dead child, who's going to be something like a happy version of a little sister, but in like a big dress.
Nice.
And someone very close to me was very kind to do me some videos that I can sort of rotoscope. But I'm waiting until I have like I have a week off in the end of August, and I'm going to sit and do it then, so I can just shut myself off for a day and animate.
Nice.
Jeez.
It's not as long as it looks when you read it out loud.
How dare you shout at me like that? This is a free country, one that my David fought for, so I will not be silenced by the likes of you. Shut up, he says to me. A delicate flower like myself should not be subjected to being brutalised by a big fat no good bastard across the street.
Should be down the road now, so they used to be opposite each other,
yeah.
didn't they?
Oh, he thinks he's so special with his fancy fruit. Adam's fruit, my horse! It's got spikes on it, so bad, and he's telling me to shut up. If my sister was here to see this, she'd be outraged. Outraged by a fraud across the street.
Nice.
So it should be down the road.
Or next door, actually, because they are next door.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go back to my blog. What? I know there's one of them next to each other somewhere. That's the only reason I'm going through. I also can't remember what he has. So what he has in his stall... So she just has like potatoes and garlic and herbs and a giant pumpkin along with her used apples. And he has... See, the problem is, I wrote it with a really tiny non-font, so I can tell that's apples. I don't know what that is. Totska. It looks like Russian. And cabbages and Karapper. I mean, Karapper. It's alright. It's everything else that matters. Yeah, I'm glad we kept these two.
I love her. I think she's my favourite character.
Yeah?
Yeah. On a very, you know, short-term level.
Yeah, she's fun. I mean, she's comic relief, but I think, in as far as that goes, she's quite good. And I know it's kind of like an allusion to Monty Python with the voice, but I don't think that's a bad thing either, considering how much a part of the national consciousness that is.
Yeah, not at all.
And, yeah.
Right, now I've got to write something for... What could he say that takes a bit of time? It needs to be quite quiet, because the onus needs to be sort of... It's going to be drowned out. Whatever he says is going to be barely heard.
Yeah, so it should be something a bit nonsense.
Yeah. Oh,
alright, let me...
Or quite bland and, you know, normal. Or...
Alright, let me monologue for a bit.
But he needs to... I don't know, like... getting more distracted, 'cause he's clearly listening to what's happening. Like I said, he's trying to drown it out, but it's impossible the longer she goes on. And then at the end, he just needs to snap. I think.
Somebody stop that awful, awful man.
Can you see me updating this?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, something like that's good.
I know it's not as long, but if we do the pauses right...
Yeah, alright, let's try
like
it.
If we say
do you want to do Appleton this time?
Okay.
Okay.
It won't have the full flavour of the voice, because I'm tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Okay. Oh no, don't you...
How dare you shout at me like that?
It reminds me of a
It's
time
a free
me and my
country, one that
father-
my David fought for, so I will not be silenced by the likes of you.
My father and I were searching...
Shut up, he says to me. A delicate flower like myself should not be subjected to being brutalised by a big fat no good bastard next door.
I've seen this... sorry, I've lost...
Oh, he thinks he's so special
place.
with his fancy fruit. Adam's
Oh,
fruit
Adam's
pie
fruit.
arse. It's
I
got
remember the
spikes
first
on it,
time
it's
I
so
laid
bad,
eyes
and
on
he's
it.
telling me to shut up. If
It
my
was,
sister was here to see this, she'd be outraged.
was,
Outraged by a fraud next door.
Yellow,
I told
like a...
the constable I did. I told him
it
it was...
painted type colour.
Wait, what's that rod say, dude? It was...
I was just rambling on because I got to the end.
No, that's fine. I told him it was... Not...
Where are you looking?
Oh, not... It was not rats ruining...
Resist. Dirty man. Horrible, horrible man.
Yeah, so we just need to give him like 3 more of those.
Yeah, he turned into a robot at the end there.
Did I?
It worked great with the voice.
I think my computer's suffering, so let's give him a couple more bits of dialogue. Right.
Yes.
Alright, you know what? That might be my computer telling me it's time to call it on this stream.
Fair enough.
Wonderful. Thank you. My voice is going. The internet is screaming at us. Thank you, guys. Aw. We did a great job, Ash, apparently. That's great.
Good.
Well, thank you for joining us. I know this was quite different. I think I'd like to do this again. Definitely. I hope you guys liked it. Anyone watching this on YouTube, thanks for sticking by. You can leave a comment on it. Anyone watching this live, thank you for joining us. Please join us again. You can find any announcements for when our streams are going to be on facebook.com/Greenwich Freakshow. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter, all the same handle. So we'll generally stream like once or twice a week. We do writing streams. I'll do streams where I just sit and draw for a while, then animate. We got a coding stream coming up sometime this month. We should also, another time this month, have another composing stream. Those are always a lot of fun. So, you know, it's a lot of content, a lot of different sides of the game design process. And we're trying to do more and more. And the next one, as I said, was me and my beautiful assistant Ash. We'll be doing a kind of a research. Research I think is probably the best name for it. I'll try and think of something better. But we're going to play some games that Ash hasn't played before. I have. It'll be half let's play, half analytical thoughts about the industry and what people are looking for within this niche of gaming. And it should be quite fun. So keep an eye on social media for when that'll be.
And maybe next time you're here, I can show you the finished tree of this.
That's a good idea. Maybe we'll do that to start the research stream.
Nice.
Anyway, thank you for joining us in the chat, especially Pixie and Postcord. That made it great, this sort of feedback. Purveyor of Pears will definitely make it into it. Ash and I were discussing that in the break. And yeah, thanks again. It's always a pleasure. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.